She certainly isn't the first person to land herself in legal trouble after perpetrating a hoax, but Carlee Russell could end up making sure any future hoaxers face much stiffer punishments. Police announced charges in the case of Carlee Russell. Let's get into today's video. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah, and welcome back to Sarah Spills. Law enforcement and the public are rightfully frustrated and upset that Carlee Russell used public resources and public sympathy in order to gain attention. What was her motivation? It's still unclear, but through her attorney, she did admit that she perpetrated a hoax.
This morning, Emory Anthony met with the Hoover Police Chief, Nick Durzis, about his client, Carlee Russell. This comes after a press conference on yesterday when Chief Durzis read a statement from her attorney, Anthony, stating that the 25-year-old nursing student was not abducted along the highway of I-459 in Hoover the night of July 13th, and she did not see a child walking along the interstate. Today, the meeting with the police department was short and a productive one.
It's a great meeting, a short meeting, just to try to identify some things about where we go from here, responsibilities that we need to take care of. But it was a great meeting, and I want to commend the Hoover Police Department and the Chief of Police for their action and how they have handled everything. So hopefully we can get to the end game, as they say, of this particular thing.
Earlier today, Hoover police detectives obtained warrants for the arrest of Carlee Russell through the Hoover Municipal Court for her actions related to faking her kidnapping and subsequently making false statements to detectives as they investigated this case. Her decisions that night created panic and alarm for the citizens of our city and even across the nation as the concern grew that a kidnapper was on the loose using a small child as bait. Numerous law enforcement agencies, both local and federal, began working tirelessly not only to bring Carlee home to her family, but locate a kidnapper that we know now never existed. Many private citizens volunteered their time and energy into looking for a potential kidnapping victim that we know now was never in any danger. As we know, actions can have consequences, and that's why we're here today. This afternoon, Carlee Russell, with the assistance of her attorney, turned herself into the Hoover City Jail, where she was arrested for the following charges: false reporting to law enforcement authorities, a Class A misdemeanor, $1,000 bond; falsely reporting an incident, a Class A misdemeanor with a $1,000 bond. Each of these charges carry up to a year in jail and potential fine of $6,000 upon conviction. Ms. Russell was released from jail after posting bond. We initially presented this case to District Attorney Lanice Washington, who agreed to handle prosecution through district court. After consulting with the Circuit Court of Jefferson County Bessemer Division, the case was referred back to municipal court for charging because the only applicable charges were misdemeanors. Judging from the amount of phone calls and emails that we've received from people all over the country, I know many are shocked and appalled that Ms. Russell is only being charged with 2 misdemeanors, despite all the panic and disruption her actions caused. Let me assure you, I too share the same frustration, but existing laws only allow the charges that were filed to be filed. I can tell you that I will be contacting our state legislatures on behalf of law enforcement in Montgomery and asking them to look at this law applied to these facts and urge them to add an enhancement to current legislation when somebody falsely reports kidnapping or another violent crime. Because of the attention this case has garnered, we've requested Attorney General Steve Marshall's office adopt this case, and they've agreed to do so. The Hoover Police Department wants to thank everyone that assisted us from the beginning and continues to assist us in this case as we work its way through the criminal justice system.
Carlee has been charged with filing a false police report and filing a false statement, both of which are misdemeanors that carry a maximum penalty of 1 year imprisonment for each count. Carlee turned herself in before the press conference and was released on a $2,000 bond, $1,000 for each charge. This is understandably an incredibly frustrating situation for the public. No matter what Carlee's motivation was, she clearly is a young woman who needs help. Hoover Police Chief Nick Durzis echoed the public's frustration when he said, quote, "I know many are shocked and appalled Ms. Russell is only being charged with 2 misdemeanors despite all the panic and disruption her actions caused. Let me assure you, I too share the same frustration, but existing law only allows those charges to be filed. I will be contacting state legislatures on behalf of law enforcement in Montgomery. I am asking them to look at this law, apply these facts, and urge them to add an enhancement to current legislation when somebody falsely reports a kidnapping or other violent crime. No matter what Carlee's punishment ends up being, she is unlikely to be incarcerated for 2 years. We all remember the case of Jussie Smollett. Former Empire actor Jussie Smollett has been sentenced to 150 days in jail after he was convicted in 2021 on 5 felony counts of lying to police. Felonies. He is currently out of jail appealing his conviction. He maintains his innocence to this day. Keep in mind the fact that he is maintaining his innocence and that he was convicted of felonies. Then there's the case of Sherry Papini. Sherry Papini was arrested on charges of making false statements to federal law enforcement officers and for mail fraud. Papini was charged with mail fraud as she had received over $30,000 from the California Victim Compensation Board between 2017 and 2021. Mail fraud is also a felony. On March 3rd, 2022, Sherry Papini was arrested by the FBI, accused of lying to federal agents and faking her kidnapping to spend time with her ex-boyfriend. 6 weeks after her arrest, Sherry Papini signed a plea deal admitting that she had orchestrated the hoax. In September of 2022, she was sentenced to 18 months in prison and fined $300,000. As we see with these two cases, both of whom were convicted of felonies, neither Sherry Papini nor Jussie Smollett were sentenced to 2 years in prison. Papini came close with her 18-month sentence, but that was largely tied to her receiving over $30,000 from the California Victim Compensation Board. Although Carlee hasn't issued a public apology, she has admitted fault through her attorney, and that will likely go a long way to reducing whatever sentence she does end up with. While we as the public are rightfully outraged that someone could do something like this, and there is a case to be made that the legislature should take a look at the laws on the book for people that do perpetrate hoax crimes for attention, it is important to let the punishment fit the crime. I'll just say that in my opinion, I think that community service and or restitution is a sufficient punishment for what Carlee was charged with. I personally don't think that this young woman needs to be thrown in jail when what she needs is counseling and mental health resources. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads at Reality Squad, and I will catch you in my next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.